Pickaxe.
Hello, and welcome back to the Review of Death, a Doctor Who podcast and your fortnightly home for Doctor Who news and reviews. I am Matthew Toffolo. I'm joined, as ever, by Billy Garratt-John. Hello, mate. How are you getting on?
Hello. I'm all good, and I have joined the Mustache Club.
I know. I feel underdressed now. I feel like I should have grown a moustache, but I shaved, so...
Yeah. By comparison, you do look a bit naked.
I do, don't I? I mean, I'm looking at the pair of us on the screen, and I think, cool, it looks weird. Something's not right here. Yeah.
Swapped. It's messed up. Well, welcome back to the Review of Death, everybody. It feels like forever since we recorded the last, proper episode.
Yeah.
And
I forgot what Doctor Who is. What is Doctor Who?
I know. Why are we bothering? Last time out, we recorded about a fortnight before the episode went out.
Yes.
Today, we are recording like the day before it goes out, and there's fuck all news. So that's worked out quite well. But there's a couple of things to touch on. Yeah. A couple of things that happened in the last few days. And as you said before we started recording, inevitably, they'll announce the release date and that Ncuti Gatwa has moved on with Millie Gibson. Yeah. And it's all coming crumbling down. Speaking of an air date, we are hearing May for Doctor Who Series 14/Season 1. I think somebody may have accidentally slipped out the 9th of May or the 7th of May.
Oh, really? Oh, I thought I heard. Yeah. I thought I heard it was the 4th of May.
Brilliant!
Which is Star Wars Day, because people have said, they won't drop it on Star Wars Day, surely. But I don't know. I'm hoping it is, because I worked out that if they start airing Doctor Who any later than the 4th of May, I'm going to have to try and record and watch Doctor Who while I'm in Brazil. So...
Come on, Russell, do us that at very least.
Yeah, please.
Come on.
I beg you. Someone message him and say, please.
Whatever your plans were, change them.
Yes.
Of course, it's not the 7th or 9th of May, because I don't think Doctor Who comes out on Tuesdays and Thursdays anymore. So I guess we're looking at either the 4th or the 11th of May, if it's going to be early May. So that's exciting. And it seems like the very, very provisional start of publicity has started with that time traveling graphic that went up with all the wibbly wobbly timey wimey stuff you get printed on a t-shirt.
It made me think of that Cliff Richard song, that poster, because it's like, get ready for your
living Time Lord. Big Finish have announced Dark Gallifrey is going to be coming out. Will we ever trust Big Finish with our money again after Once and Future? I think not. But
yeah, I was like, no, sorry, I can't fall into that trap again. So if you were expecting that on Patreon, no.
Get stuffed. No chance. I can't imagine anything that's coming out in the next 2 years from Big Finish will tickle us into doing any stuff on the Patreon. Oh, hang on a minute. The first Fugitive Doctor box set is supposed to be coming out next January, apparently.
We could do that. That'd be interesting,
I'd love to do that.
That'd be good, because that'd be something really, really new. Multi-Doctor stories, multi-Master stories. I loved that. I loved how it was like, all of the best baddies from Time Lord Society. And everyone was like, 3 of the people you announced are the same person. It's the Master.
True. And also, when you, and they're like 5.
There's not that many.
The Master, the Rani, Morbius,
the
Barusa. The Master again. Missy, another version of the Master. Gordon Tipple. It's we'll see. But also on the Big Finish front, this is a very Big Finish heavy news section.
It is, isn't it?
Colin Baker is recording introductions for a run of audio stories to be repackaged as a podcast called Into the TARDIS, released on Saturdays episodically. and they're starting with, I think it's called The Death and the Queen, which is a David Tennant and Catherine Tate.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, that's cool. I think that's good that they're expanding their catalogue to people without having to spend shitloads of money, which is nice, especially because, it's all the older stuff. So,
yes.
Although that David Tennant one isn't that old, I thought they were literally going to go from the beginning. I thought it was going to be Sirens of Time, but maybe that's a bit
No, I think you have to spare some listeners' ears, because going back and listening to some of those early big finishes is, primitive, not pedestrian in any way, but sort of their sound design at the very least has definitely got better, and their music is very different.
Yes,
and they've got a more expanded cast, I suppose. It's not just Nick Briggs playing everybody. So we are today, Matt, doing something pretty impressive, if I do say so myself.
We are, aren't
we? We are going to attempt to rank every single classic series season of Doctor Who in one massive tier list. All 26 of them.
God, we're mad.
Wow. We might as well crack on, eh? Because
I got to go to work in a minute.
So let's get it done.
Let's go on, right?
We don't need to explain tier lists. We've kept it simple. It's your common or garden, S, A, B, C, D. And we'll start with season 1. I've got a very helpful Wikipedia article by my side, so I can remind myself which episodes
what is in
which
it?
Seasons.
Right, yeah.
Instinctively, Matt, where are you putting season 1, the one that started it all?
That's a difficult one. I thought we were going to go for like the obvious ones first. I thought we were going to go.
Well, we could do that. Okay.
That might be easier. I think that might be the quicker way of doing it. So, for instance, I would say for D, season 15.
I'm glad that you have put a Tom Baker in there. So we'll move it into D for the time being. And I know what is going on.
Yeah.
The world has turned upside down. Horses are eating each other. It's pandemonium. Now, let me read out to the episodes from that season. Horror of Fang Rock, starting with a banger.
Yeah.
And then, The Invisible Enemy, Image of the Fendal.
I don't mind Invisible Enemy. I quite like it. Image of the Fendal, I like, but I don't. It's one of those stories that I never really understand what is actually going on, but it's got enough sort of atmosphere and interesting direction that I can.
It sort of feels like the last gasp of the Gothic era of Doctor Who, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Sort of like a last hurrah before it all goes a little bit silly.
Yes.
The Sunmakers, Underworld, and The Invasion of Time, which I will always hold up as being a highly underrated 6-part story in Doctor Who's canon.
Interesting.
I mean, really, it's only interesting as a 3-parter.
Yes.
So if you ignore the first 3 episodes, but as a huge out of nowhere steer into crazy what the hell is going on here, it doesn't get much better than that cliffhanger in Invasion of Time where the Sontarans turn up. So
but I mean, Sunmakers and Underworld.
Yeah. The Invisible Enemy, I'm not a massive fan of.
Not a fan? Oh, I quite like Invisible Enemy. I mean, it's not one of Bob Baker and Dave Martin's best, although obviously it does introduce K9. You happy with that? Right at the bottom, season 15.
Do you know what? I think that there's another Tom Baker series that if we're going to rank it as D, is on par with that. Because season 17 only has City of Death going for it.
Yeah.
Destiny of the Daleks, pants.
Yeah.
City of Death, obviously great.
Yep.
The Creature from the Pit.
Yeah.
Nightmare of Eden, I'm a fan of, but
I like it. Yeah.
The Horns of Nimon.
Oh God, ass.
So, do we put it in 17 and then we can think about moving it later?
I think we put 17 alongside it in that case. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna whack it next to it.
Did anybody predict seeing that on their screens when they started a video where Matthew Toffolo talks about his favourite classic seasons of Doctor Who, that it would start with 2 Toms in the bottom?
Wow, yeah.
Very, very interesting. Can I now go next and elect an episode to stick in there?
By all means.
I would like to nominate. I'm just making sure I'm getting all of my facts straight here. Yeah. I'm going to say this is not a D tier.
Okay.
But I am going to place it in C, and you can tell me what you think.
Right.
I am going to say season 21 is C tier.
Season 21. Right. So what's that? That's
Warriors of the Deep.
Oh, God.
It's a bad start. That was a season opener. Oh my God.
Davison's face saying,
"Yeah,
I won't be here by the end of the year."
This is when I sign out, folks. The Awakening, Frontios, Resurrection of the Daleks, which is,
a banger.
Good. Planet of Fire, and The Caves of Androzani. Now, obviously,
and the Twin Dilemma.
And the Twin Dilemma. Yeah.
Oh.
So, what do you think? Is that D-worthy, or does Resurrection and Caves lift it out?
I think Resurrection and Caves lift it out. I think Frontios we quite enjoyed, didn't we, when we watched it? Yeah. So I will be kind and say maybe C.
Okay.
Maybe. I think
I'll let you.
I think I enjoy. Let's go with C
for the time being. All right, you go next.
For the time being, all right. I'll whack that in there. Right, we're being quite mean at the moment. We're being pretty shitty. We've just done all the bad ones. So why don't we go right to the top?
Yes.
And in S tier, I'm going to put season 14.
Okay. So we have The Mask of Mandragora.
It's okay.
The Hand of Fear.
Another good one.
The Deadly Assassin.
Fab.
The Face of Evil. The Robots of Death. And the Talons of Weng Chiang.
Fantastic. I mean, there's some crackers in there. There's some crackers.
There are.
I mean, do we put it in S or do we put it in A?
I think A, because I've got to be honest, I've never quite got the Face of Evil. Never quite latched onto it.
Yeah.
And I think the Hand of Fear is fine, but the Mask of Mandragora is pretty poor. I think I'm not a fan of that. So
that's fair enough.
I think A is okay for the time being. It's certainly not B. Fine. If we're going to put season 21 in C, it's definitely not a B.
Yeah.
Season 14.
Okay. As I was sort of saying it, I thought, maybe I've ranked this slightly too high. As excellent as it is, I personally have always preferred season 13. I think 13's got a stronger run of stories, maybe.
I tell you what sits on a level with that, I reckon, or maybe even it's B, if we are going to try and fill our gaps, let's establish where we're at with each tier.
Yeah.
I think a solid B tier season would be season 11.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what's that? Time Warrior, Death to the Daleks, Invasion of the Dinosaurs,
Monster of Peladon, Planet of the Spiders.
Yeah. That's a good B tier. Possibly even an A. There's some good stories there, but we'll put it in B for now, I think.
I think Dinosaurs is obviously marred by why did you think you could get away with that? But also you've got to admire its pluck in trying to do it.
Yeah.
So,
and the actual story itself. Story. Yeah, it's good. Okay. Season 11 in B. Right then. Ooh. Where to next? Well, let's do an S tier for sure. Season 26.
Yes.
That has to go up there.
I think the McCoy seasons definitely benefit from being shorter.
Yes.
Because, you get a concentrated dose of the best scripts they could pull together. I mean, obviously it's written by a very young writing team.
Yeah.
Courtesy of Andrew Cartmel bringing all these people on board.
Mm-hmm.
And you get a real concentrated dose of great stories. There's not enough room for a poor one to sneak in there.
No. And I think especially with that season, what have we got here? Because Fenric, Battlefield. Battlefield is probably the weakest one of the four, but it's still good fun.
Yeah, yeah.
It's still a strong story. Obviously, Survival's excellent. And then Ghostlight, whether you understand it or not, is still a fun watch.
It's the same thing with Image of the Fendal, isn't
exactly.
it? Although even more incomprehensible. Image of the Fendal is incomprehensible because you don't actually know what's going on and it should be easily explainable.
Yes.
Whereas the Ghostlight is more of a, get my thesaurus out, get my Theory of Evolution book out, and just try and pray that,
try and piece
I'm
it together.
Having an acid trip. Exactly. Okay. Season 26. That sounds good to me.
Right.
Right then, where do we go next? Shall we do all of Sylve?
We might as well. I think Sylve is an easy one to do.
I am gonna say possibly even verging in A tier for me, personally. That season 25 is a banger of a season.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say.
I think it's not S tier. I don't think overall it doesn't have the breadth of quality across the whole run.
Yeah.
But it really stands up individually.
Yeah. In which case, should we put season 24 in C or D?
I think C tier, because unlike the previous, whatever it was, 7 years of Doctor Who, season 24 does feel like it has a breath of fresh air.
Yes.
Injected into it, whether that's the theme tune or the new title sequence. It does just look like they've really tried to set it apart from what's been.
Yeah.
And I think that does invigorate the whole thing, even though the scripts aren't quite up to snuff, and you only really start to get interesting stuff happening with Ian Briggs coming in for Dragonfire.
Yeah.
Time in the Rani it's a classic 4 out of 10. I don't think I could find a more perfect 4 out of 10 Doctor Who episode than Time in the Rani.
I think this is it. Like, rewatching it when the collection set came out, I enjoyed rewatching those stories more than I ever did before. Even Paradise Towers. And when we did our review of Paradise Towers, I think we were all quite surprised by how much you've always liked it.
The Richard Bryars impressions were coming thick and fast.
Right. Okay. Well, that's Sylve off to a very good start. He's done.
Off the hook, I think is fair to say.
Yeah, very much so.
Hang on, we decided to put him in C, right? Just because I'm trying to keep up.
Yeah. C tier for season 24. Right. Okay. Right. Where do we go next? Okay. I've got another one for Peter Davison.
Mm-hmm.
And I am going to say season 19 in A.
Okay, so we're talking Shock.
Yes.
We're talking Balva.
Yes.
We're talking 4.
That's dog shit.
We're talking, I can't
Visitation.
abbreviate Kinder anymore, so I'll just say duh. Yeah, Visitation.
Black Orchid.
And Orchid. But we've also got Flight.
We do have Time Flight.
I've never really taken to Castrovalva, but it's a cool...
Okay.
It's as cool as you can get while being beige as fuck, I tell you that. It's a Chris Bidmead script, so it's not exactly leaping off the page at me.
This is like that is like Annie's favourite story, so you gotta be careful. She's not here, so you're right.
Going mad with the Quantel paint box,
yes,
which does date it horrendously. Yeah. It's almost like whenever you see those early digital, gallery controlled effects, it does feel like someone's slammed the brakes on a bit more than I feel CSO, which I know mars a lot of Pertwee bouffant time. Kinder, magnificent.
Yeah.
Visitation, magnificent.
Yeah.
Black Orchid.
I really like Black Orchid. Always have done. It's always been a season I've liked, with the exception of 4 to Doomsday, which again, when I rewatched it when the collection set came out, I didn't hate it as much. Yeah. Obviously, Time Flight is unforgivable in his shitness, as people will know from our review. But I think there's some strong stories in there overall.
I think I'm going to do a David Copperfield or a David Blaine, and I'm going to break your mind. Have you put season 19's tile on the tier yet, along A?
Yes, I have.
Does that look right to you? Season 14 and season 25 next to season 19?
Does that look right to you?
Doesn't look right to me.
Oh, really? Oh. B then.
I'll put it in B. It's definitely not a C, but
yeah.
I just think either that or we need to move 14 and 25 up to S tier.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah. And I think season 11, it's hard. This is difficult. This is tricky.
And we should obviously put a disclaimer out saying, there is no season of Doctor Who we don't like. It's not like D is, I'm morally offended that this exists.
No.
Maybe with the exception of, I don't know, Twin Dilemma. But I think that it's fair to say all of these are loved.
Yeah.
Some are loved more than others. And I think season 14 and 25 should go in S. And I will give you that season 19 is good on paper, but I don't think it's alongside those two.
So what are we saying? Are we moving 14 and 25 up? Yeah,
I think so.
I think that's fair. All right, let's put that. Actually, I'll stick them in order, seeing as we're like that. Okay,
wow.
So
good on Sylv and poor Tom. I mean, shit.
This is it, right, so this is interesting. So S tier, 14, 25, 26, A, 19, B, 11, C, 21 and 24, and D, 15 and 17. Interesting. Very interesting.
Do you want to do a whole tier? Do you want us? Should we work from the bottom up and save the best till last, or where do you want to go next?
Ooh, that is tricky. Let's see.
Look at us ruminating on this like this actually matters.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to say for C tier, let's put, because he's not been put on the charts yet, season 22.
Okay. Yeah.
Attack of the Cybermen, fine. Great. What other stories are in that season?
Varos, amazing.
Vengeance of Varos, yeah, Vengeance of Varos. Mark of the Rani, which is okay. Two Doctors, which again, okay. I'm not a huge fan of it. And then what's left? Or is that it?
Revelation.
Oh, Revelation, which is excellent. But
I am actually looking at this. I think it should be B, because the only bad episode in that season is Time Lash.
Oh yeah, and Time Lash. Ooh.
I don't think that kneecaps it though. I think if you look at it in light of season 23, that's not a terrible season of Doctor Who.
No,
across the board, but it's not really lighting up any switchboards, is it? Apart from people saying, "Get it off my telly," on points of view. I think that season 22 deserves to go in B, and I think, on reflection, in light of that, season 23 should be a C tier. Okay, interesting. Do I agree with that? I'm not sure. I like Trial of a Time Lord, but maybe you're right. Maybe, I probably would rather watch some of season 22 over the entirety of Trial of a Time Lord. So, all right, I will agree with you. So let's put season 22 in B, season 23 in C. Yes.
Okay.
Always room for jiggery pokery.
There is always room for jiggery pokery. I think that's all right. I'm wondering about season 24. I'm wondering if we've been a bit too kind to season 24. Really, on the whole, yeah. Because I mean,
probably
maybe that should be lower than it is.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
Just to even it out a bit.
Okay, I'm happy to concede that. Yeah.
But I'll put it at the front because
yes, I was going to say we can start ranking these sort of more specifically with putting them in order in their tiers. Let's do something black and white because we haven't touched the 60s yet. Shall we go for, I think, a dead cert for me for being in one of the top 2 tiers?
Yep.
Should be season 2.
Season 2. Okay. So this is one that came out last year, wasn't it, as a collection set? So what's that? That's Planet of Giants, Dalek Invasion of Earth, The Rescue, The Romans, Web Planet, The Space Museum,
The Crusade.
And The Chase. The Crusade as well,
And The Time Meddler.
So sort of a mixed bag in places. Planet of Giants, but I quite like.
Yeah, I like Planet of Giants, but that was the only William Hartnell I owned on VHS.
Okay, interesting. All right.
And I used to watch that a lot, and I always really liked it. It's a 4-parter. It's a 4-part Bill Hartnell story. It's kind of hard to come by. 3-parter, excuse me. 3-parter, even better.
Even better.
I don't see any of Bill's other seasons getting into
tier.
The top 2. I don't know. I mean,
really?
Could we argue maybe season 1 is A, and could season 2 be B, or is that too harsh on season 2?
So season 1, we've got An Unearthly Child, we've got The Daleks, Edge of Destruction, Keys of Marinus, Marco Polo, Keys of Marinus. What else? My brain's gone.
The Aztecs, the Sensorites, and the Reign of Terror.
Yes, I love the Aztecs. I am one of the few that like the Sensorites. It is too long, but I do enjoy it. Mm-hmm. Reign of Terror put me to sleep. What
Sent
else?
most of the cast on holiday. It was so rubbish.
Well, yeah, there we go. Speaks volumes, doesn't it? Really. Yeah. Ooh, and I enjoyed watching An Unearthly Child when we rewatched it.
Yeah.
The Daleks we've talked about a lot as being a bit of a slog. Edge of Destruction is so wonderful in its experimental madness. Marco Polo we obviously can't really talk about properly, but from what I've watched of reconstructions and read of Target novels, I've always enjoyed it. Yeah. Ooh, tricky. I don't know if season 1 is an S tier, though.
No, I'd say it's A. But then I think then season 2 probably goes into B.
So let's put 1 into A. So season 2. Season 2's a good season, though. I mean, I'd put that in A as well.
Yeah?
Yeah. Let's put them both in there for now and see how we feel. Right. Okay. Right, it's sort of evened out fairly nicely, isn't it, at the moment?
Yeah, it is. We've got almost as many rubbish ones as we've got good ones. It's good to see. Let's weight it more in favour of the good ones. And may I put forward season 7?
Yes.
As an S tier.
Yes, for sure. Without a shadow of a doubt.
Same thing with Sylvester seasons. 4 stories.
Yeah.
Just sweet spot. And they all do something different. They're all obviously confined for the first time in Doctor Who's history. It's a very confined environment. But they all manage to tell very different and very interesting stories. Yeah,
no, I completely agree with that. I think, in fact, Ambassadors of Death is one that we're going to be doing fairly soon, isn't it?
Very soon, yes.
Now that is the only story that season that I've always been very about. I love that season, but that one has never really never really gelled with me, so I'm looking forward to rewatching it. Annie loves it, so that might help, watching it with someone who really enjoys it rather than just watching it in isolation. Yeah, but I agree, it has to go at the top. Right. Another S tier then.
Yeah.
Season 13.
Season 13. Let us remind ourselves of the glory.
Yeah.
Terror of the Zygons, Planet of Evil, Pyramids of Mars, Android Invasion, Brain of Morbius, Seeds of Doom. I think you're right.
Yeah. I mean, I think that is a better contender for S tier than season 14. I think it's got a stronger run of stories. Android Invasion is the only one that sort of lets the side down, and I think even that's okay. That's like a fairly run-of-the-mill 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10 sort of story. But just the bangers that you've got there, just you rattling them off then. Pyramids of Mars, Brain of Morbius, Seeds of Doom. Whoa.
It's when they become consecutive when you read them out, isn't it? It's when you don't notice a break in quality. And I think that can scupper your enjoyment of a season in retrospect. Because
very much so.
You think, oh yeah, we got that, and then we got that. Oh, but then we had like 3 in a row that really didn't work.
Yes.
And then it sort of sags the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's funny the way you perceive it. It's almost like a visual thing of like of a graph. And it's the one that has the highest of highs that will, I mean, that's literally what we're doing. That's a stupid analogy because that's what's happening in front of our eyes. Okay, season 13. Shall we ask if there are any of these seasons that are left to go into D, or are we happy to lock D down?
I think D. I think we're done with D. Personally, I don't think there's any others there that get that bad. And I sort of feel a bit mean to say, some of those are that bad, but it's just like you said, our enjoyment of them isn't as strong as other seasons. Sorry, I've got a small creature coming to say hello to me. Hello, what do you want?
Hello, Giz. How's your bum feeling?
Hello.
He had his bits done, everybody.
He did. He had a finger up the jacksie.
Up there.
Some people pay for that, Giz. I paid for it for you.
I paid for it many years ago. I thought you were going to say. I think B and C are looking a little bit lonely. And I'd like to ask if either of them could have season 5 as a bedfellow.
Season 5. Right, season 5. What is that? That is Tomb of the Cybermen.
Yes.
That is... God, my brain. I used to know this off by heart. I could have told you every episode, every story in order. And then my brain...
I can hear people straining with their headphones on the bus or at work going... The Abominable Snowmen is next, it's obvious.
Oh, yes, of course it is. The Abominable Snowmen. The Ice Warriors.
How do you not know these? Yes, the Ice Warriors. The Ice Warriors. Enemy of the World.
Enemy of the World, Web of Fear.
Yeah.
And then is it Fury from the Deep?
Yes, and...
Wheel in Space.
There we go.
Right, okay.
When you look at that, Tomb, brilliant.
Fab.
Enemy of the World, obviously has been, reassessed and given a lot of love.
Yeah.
And the Web of Fear has obviously quite a large cast a long shadow, but it's not that great, I don't think.
No. Okay. Interesting. What else is in that season? Fury from the Deep. Obviously, we can only experience it as an animation, but
I like it. I
enjoy
love it. I think it's got a real sense of dread to it that a lot of Doctor Who, certainly from that period, doesn't really have.
Yeah. Abominable Snowmen. Interesting that was one I always enjoyed as like a telesat reconstruction, and then the animation kind of cocked it a little bit for me. It was cucked by cartoons.
Do you think that's perception though? Do you think that's your perception in the moment? And if you went back and after a couple of years of obviously never watching the animation again, because why would you unless you're doing a marathon?
Yeah.
You
or this
would you would still have your feelings on it tainted by the animation?
Maybe not. Maybe because I know what to expect going in, and I'd probably end up watching it in black and white, alongside the other episode. So I would say that is a B tier.
Okay.
Do you think?
B tier. Yeah, I can go with that. Absolutely.
At least for now. Let's put it there. I'll put it at the front though, because I think there's some good stories there. It might go up to A. I'm not sure. Right. Okay. So we've still got a few Toms left. We've still got a couple.
Should we finish
Pats.
off John? There's one left for. Oh no, there's three left.
There's three for
my
John.
Eyes aren't working.
Well, let's do Peter Davison. He's only got one left. Let's get him out of the way. Season 20. Now, season 20 has always been a season that I was never that keen on, and I rewatched with the collection sets, and I really rather enjoyed it. So I would say that season 20 would go into B.
Yes, I was worried for a second that you were going to say A. So yes, let's go for B.
Season 20, S tier.
That would literally end this podcast, I think. But I'll let you have it at the top of B. How about that?
I don't think I would put it above Pat Troughton.
Yes, Pat is there. I haven't shuffled Pat over to the front.
Yeah,
yet.
I think Pat's at the front. And I'm not sure if I'd necessarily put it in front of season 11, because I do like Death of the Daleks and Time Warriors, excellent. Planet of the Spiders is great. So I will put it the 280s seasons, just end that little section there. Right, okay. Do you wanna whack another one on?
Let's whack another one on. Let's season 12. Season 12 is massive. It is Tom's first year. It is the first time that the show has had some sort of sustained popularity, and then the lead actors changed. Obviously it waned significantly towards the end of Patrick, and then came into colour, had a new burst of energy.
Yeah.
And
I guess
really,
it's kind of like I guess it's like Eccleston into Tennant, isn't it?
Yes.
Really.
I was just about to say that's the only other example of like the baton being handed over, and they're, at least for the first year of Tom's run, them sort of being matched on, the general public, I guess, watching, if you want to measure it by that metric. But if you measure it by story quality, I love Robot, and I will defend it to the hilt. I love that
it's good fun
episode.
Really good fun.
The arc in space.
Excellent.
This is how you structure a season of Doctor Who, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it'd be nice to get a historical in there, because we don't get a historical until Mask of Mandragora.
Wow, they don't really do. Pyramids of Mars is historical,
Mars, of course.
But it's so isolated, isn't it? That story that it could be set sort of any time, really.
Because everywhere, everyone almost dresses the same way as Marcus Scarma. It's got the same lighting and the same sort of tone, doesn't it? Everything.
Yeah. Where do you think?
I am going to say it's A.
Yes, I would agree.
Verging on S.
Yeah. Well, let's put it right at the front of A, shall we?
Yes.
Let's do that.
How's your S looking at the moment? What have you ordered that as?
So I've gone 13, 14, 25, 26, and 27. 27 and 7.
Okay.
Does that seem good to you?
Where have I put 25? Where's 25 gone? Have I still got 25 on this list? Oh, there we are. There we go. Oops. So you had it, 14, 25, 26, 7, 13?
13, 14, 25, 26, and then season 7.
Fine. Okay. Yes. All clear. Okay, 2 Toms to go.
2 to go for Tom. 2 for Pat. Only 1 for Billy.
For Pat. Let's do Bilbo. Season 3. We have in season 3. What terrible Doctor Who fans we are that we have to scroll up the Wikipedia articles. It's a long one, Matt. It is a long season.
But the irony is none of it exists.
Exactly. So Galaxy 4.
Oh, God almighty.
Yeah. Mission to the Unknown doesn't count. The Myth Makers.
Yeah, I like that. I like that story.
Mm-hmm. The Daleks Master Plan. Oh, God. How are we going to do that?
Yeah.
Should we split it like the Targets and do Mutation of Time?
We could do, couldn't we?
And
we could do that. That'd be good fun. Right. Yeah. I like Master Plan. It's long, but I do enjoy most of it.
The Massacre.
I enjoy the Massacre as well. I enjoy a good massacre.
Yeah, Matt loves the Massacre. They're his favourite things. The Ark.
I love the Ark. The Ark is great. It's a great story.
The Racist Toy Maker.
Yeah, that racist toy maker.
You know when we went to see with Nell? Well, we were there. Was it me and Dad and?
Yeah, you and Dad went, didn't it? You and your dad were there. Yeah. I remember.
And asking Paul McGann if Doctor Who fans or Withnail and I fans were worse or whatever. Yeah. And I just think now I actually heard people behind me sigh.
Did they?
Yeah. And actually, when it came out of my mouth, I was like, don't be the one person to bring up the other thing that Paul is known for. I just felt like such a gobshite. And sometimes, there are much worse things to keep you up at night, but that is something that occasionally I'm like, God, I really wish I had never done that.
Oh, but you were young. Crikey. How old were you then? You were still a teenager.
I was still a teenager. I didn't know what I was doing.
I don't think it's that bad a question.
No.
It's not like you went, Paul, in the TV movie, why is the Master spunk?
Would you rather have faced the Celestial Toy Maker or the... yes, well, he would have answered it very graciously. I think he did as well. I think he saw the glint in my eye and was like, oh, we've got a fan. We've got a fan on our hands.
He probably should have turned around and said, take a look in the mirror and ask yourself that question and you'll have the answer.
I would have respected him so much if he'd done that. All right,
you
let's
mad
get back on track.
Get out. Sit
down. We should come back in just with that and just no context to what we've just spoken about. Have the Monty Python intermission jingle playing just in that little bit there. Okay, so we were on season 3.
Yes.
And we had got down. So the gunfighters. Yeah. Give me some gunfighters.
You like the gunfighters, don't you?
We love the gunfighters. The savages and the war machines. Where were you pitching this originally? Which tier?
I think B. I think it's. Okay. I think it's hard because we obviously can't watch a lot of it. What do you think?
B.
Yeah. I think B. I don't think it's as good as season 5
or 11.
I
suppose this comes down to your tolerance for black and white paced Doctor Who now.
Yeah.
Whether or not it sits above or below the 80s episodes there.
Yeah. That's difficult. I might put it at the end just because we can watch those others, well, with the exception of season 5, in their entirety. Obviously, season 5 is so much of it is animated. Maybe once they eventually animate all of season 3, we might look at that differently. But I think for now, let's put him at the bottom.
Good idea. We've got how many more? We've got one. No, still got 2 Toms left. We've got 3. Let's get some Johns out of the way. We've got 3 Johns.
This is hard because he's got some bloody good stories in all of his seasons.
Yeah, and with the exception of season 12 and maybe season 24, there aren't many other periods of Doctor Who that I generally have a lot of warmth for in a nostalgic way, because I think of those episodes as being ones that I watched a lot on UK Gold, and I when I thought of seasons of Doctor Who, those are the earliest ones that sort of formed in my head as being, those were good ones.
Yes. Yeah. No,
John's
I agree.
whole tenure on the show has a warmth to it that will always elevate it for me.
Yeah.
So I'll view it through rose-tinted spectacles, and I think I'd like you to go for season 8 and tell me where you think that should go.
So season 8, we've got Terror of the Autons. We've got Claws of Axos, The Mind of Evil. All good so far. Colony in Space, which is a bit of a... That one weighs it down a little bit.
You said Axos.
Space. Said Axos.
And Demons, and that'll be it. So
and the Demons, which is, again,
Autons,
excellent.
Mind of Evil, Axos, Space, and Demons. I think it's B.
B, do you think? I would agree, actually. I would agree. And I think the one thing that weighs it down, it probably would have been A, is the Master being in every story.
True.
I think that repetitive nature just knocks it down a little bit. So let's put it in B. I'll put it at the front.
And also,
of B.
I like Mind of Evil, but it should not be 6 parts long.
Yes.
And
okay.
I don't like Colony in Space at all. So
it's as grey and dreary as the quarry they shot it in.
Yeah, and the rest of that season is decent, but those two are grey spots for me, I think.
Fair enough. No, I will agree with that.
Okay. One that has been sticking out like a sore thumb here because it sort of sits in what should be a well-established period of Doctor Who history that we have so far put down in D. Shall we do season 16?
Yeah.
The Key to Time.
The Key to Time. I would say that's a C tier.
Yeah.
Because there's stories in there that I enjoy, but I'm not sure Armageddon Factor, God almighty, that is dull. Feck me.
That's pretty pants.
It is pants. Reboss Operation, I know people love the Reboss Operation. I think it's okay. Jonathan hates it. My brother hates it. He thinks it's very boring. But I think it's one of those stories you need to be in the right sort of frame of mind to watch. What else have we got in that season? Androids of Tara, great. I love that story.
Pirate Planet, Stones of Blood.
Stones of Blood. Yeah, so those are good.
Kroll.
Power Kroll's all right as well. But I would still say C because I think it's and obviously the production values of season 15, they've gone up, but they're still struggling a bit, I think, in places. Like it doesn't have that confidence that the Philip Hinchcliffe era had. So I would say stick it at 616 in C, maybe at the front, maybe just before 21.
Okay, I was actually going to say...
or in the middle.
Well, for me, because they're both single story seasons, I think season 21 is at the top of C.
Okay.
And then I think it's between either 16 and 23 for second and third at the moment. And I actually prefer season 23. I prefer Trial of a Time Lord over Key to Time.
Interesting. Ooh, okay. Well, I'll move it down. Go on, then. I'll move it down.
Yeah?
I'll be nice. Yeah, go on. I'll be nice. I'll be kind.
Again, we can reassess. Do you want to do the last Tom, or should we save the last Tom for last?
Let's save the last Tom. Go on. Let's do
save the last Tom for me.
Let's do another Pat.
Okay.
Season 6.
Right. Yeah, season 6, which is one that, I see a lot of people loving on. Dominators.
Shit. Crotons.
The Mind Robber.
Mind Robber is very good.
The Invasion.
Really good. I rewatched it over Christmas.
As you say, Crotons.
Yeah.
The Seeds of Death.
Another good story. Yeah. The War Games.
But then
Space
there's
Pirates.
the other one.
Yeah, Space Pirates. Oh, yeah. See, this is it. I think people forget the Space Pirates because you can't watch it.
Before I make a suggestion, I'm just going to have a look at season 4. Now, obviously, this also has some Bill Hartnell stories in there, being the smugglers and the 10th planet.
Yeah.
I think that 6 is a stronger season than 4.
Right.
But I don't think by an awful lot. So I reckon 4 is C and 6 is B.
4 is B and 6 is C. So season 4.
Hang on. Did I get that the wrong way around? Fucking hell. Is it rather than just focusing on one season? I thought I'd massively overcomplicate it. Let's just worry about season 6.
Let's get season 6 on there.
Yeah, I feel like I can only compare it to the other Pat season there. But
I might say put it in. Oh dear, that's a hard one.
Yeah.
War Games is so good. Invasion is so good.
Seeds of Death.
Mind Robber. Those are really good stories. We don't have to watch the Space Pirates.
No, never again. Never again. So that immediately puts this in S. I wonder if we butt it up next to season 5 at the top of B.
Yeah, maybe. Shall we do that?
Yeah.
That seems fair. Let's put it there. Fine. Yeah. Middle ground.
Mm-hmm.
Middle ground. Solid Doctor Who. Solid Doctor Who, that is.
Solid.
Right. Let's see. Shall we do another Pertwee?
Yeah.
Let's do season 9, because that came out. Was that out last year? It was out last year, wasn't it?
I don't know, because I haven't seen any of my copies of it. Mum and Dad have been hoarding them. Thanks for hoarding them, Mum and Dad, but they've got them probably still in their cellophane, even though I insist they open it, and so it's not a complete waste of time.
No.
Day of the Daleks.
Great.
Yeah. Oh, Matt, I think... Oh, no. It was great until I got halfway through. The Curse of Peladon, we love.
Brilliant. Yeah.
The Sea Devils, great.
Yeah.
The Mutants.
I like the Mutants. I like the Mutants, yeah.
The Time Monster.
It is a good run of stories.
The Time Monster is the only bad one.
Yeah. They cock it right at the end. So Matt. I think... and then season 10's a really good one as well. I think the thing is, we have to put it in terms of, do we prefer it over season 8?
Okay.
And I think yes.
Yes, I would agree. I think that we're going to put it in A, season 9.
Yeah.
And while we're talking about it, I guess, do you want to do 10?
Yeah, we might as well. Right, I'm going to put 9 after season 12.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think it is better than season 19. But so I'll put it there. Season 10, right. Again, another really good run of stories here, isn't it? You've got the list. You remind me.
We've got the 3 Doctors.
Yes.
I might just put
stuff.
random episodes in these lists and see if you notice.
I'll be like, hang on a minute.
Carnival of Monsters.
Yeah,
Frontier in Space.
Great.
Planet of the Daleks.
Love
The Green Death.
Oh, yeah, come on. A. Stick it in A.
Oh.
I would put that above, but beneath 12, but above 9, maybe.
The only thing that I was almost tempted to say bottom of S.
All right, okay.
Honestly, because, again, I think that's the UK TV Gold effect coming into play, because I got very strong memories of watching Frontier in Space. Yeah. And really, it's the only kind of weaker story in that season.
Very much so, yeah.
But it's almost a 12-parter, with Planet of the Daleks.
Yeah.
And I know that you shouldn't take it as such, and so saying this feels a bit redundant, but it's quite a plodder to slap in the middle of your season.
Yeah. But I think like when you watch it back to back, it does sort of work, doesn't it? I think in isolation, Frontier in Space doesn't work as well. Maybe. I don't know. But I think A tier, easy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Easily A tier.
I'll put it after season 12, just because I think season 12 I've got more nostalgia for.
Yes. And I think
some ways,
across the board, it doesn't sort of stutter in pace.
Yeah.
Like it sounds daft saying that, like as if seeing it written down, seeing 6 episodes rather than 4 in the middle of it actually makes any material difference to the way that run of stories goes in your head. But actually, if you're viewing it as a block of stories like we would now, if you had a 2 or 3 parter that was, like we were saying earlier, that was pretty poo in the middle of a 13 episode run, it would cast a shadow on the rest of it.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Especially if it's a real stinker. If it really makes you think, oh,
if you get a sort of girl who, what was it? The girl who died, the woman who lived.
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
That really does kick you in the bollocks when you're watching it.
It does. It kicks you in the proverbials. Okay, so we were gonna save the last Tom for last.
Yeah.
So season 4.
Season 4. Right. So with the exception of the 2 Hartnell stories, The Smugglers and 10th Planet, we've got Power of the Daleks, which is excellent. The Highlanders. I love the Highlanders. Underwater Menace. But we'll come to that one in due course on this podcast. After that, it's the Moon Base. It's the Moon Base. Moon Base, then the Macra Terror. Again, two good stories. Then it's the Faceless Ones, which is okay.
Yeah.
And then Evil of the Daleks, which is really good.
Yeah. So I think the Faceless Ones, the 6-parter, is actually probably one of the stronger 6-parters that isn't, like a sprawling historical.
Yeah. That's a tricky one. A or B? I think B again.
I think B.
Yeah, I think B. I don't think it's as good as season 8, so we'll put it there. Is it better or worse than season 5?
I would say tonally it's worse. It's a bit. I guess they're finding their feet with this new character, and maybe they had a bunch of scripts commissioned and they just chucked them all in a big kind of, mixed it all up. But there's more of a tonal consistency across season 5, I think.
Yeah, I think 5, 4, then 6. Yeah. I think 6 gets let down by Dominators, Crotons, and Space Pirates. So okay, so that B tier is now looking like season 8, 5, 4, 6, 11, 20, 22, and 3.
Yes.
Okay. So then, last but not least, season 18.
Season 18.
So an interesting one. So we've got The Leisure Hive. We've got the E-Space trilogy of Full Circle, State of Decay, and Warrior's Gate, Keeper of Trock, and we've missed out Meglos. I knew there was one somewhere that I'd missed out. Meglos, then the E-Space trilogy, then Keeper of Trock, and then finally Logopolis, as the lady on UK Gold announced. Yes. What do we think? I really like this season. I think it's a real breath of fresh air after 15, 16, and 17. Oh dear. I like The Leisure Hive. That incredibly long panning shot aside, I think is a good story.
Which they do again in Meglos to show off, look at our new effects.
Yeah. And the first episode still underruns. It's still only like 18 minutes or something ridiculous.
Unbelievable.
So Leisure Hive's good. I enjoy Meglos. It's a kind of like a throwback to the previous season, but it's okay. Full Circle, I think, is great. State of Decay, fantastic. Warriors Gate, really good. Keeper of Traken, that's good. Not one of my favourites, but it's all right. And then I really enjoy Legopolis. I think we both sort of said that when we did our review of it a couple of years back.
Yeah.
So where do we whack it? I would even... Oh, okay. No, go on.
I was just going to say, just before you go on, because I agree with everything you say, as we were just talking about eternal consistency, again, it's got that across the board.
Yeah. Meglos is the only one that sort of scuppers that a little bit.
But also just in terms of the texture of it, because, as you say, it is a breath of fresh air. Like season 24, but maybe to a lesser degree, I suppose. It is definitely trying to move on and do something else and look different, feel different, sound different. But I think that Tom and his performance, for the most part, if you take it on average, I think weighs that season down quite a bit. And not in a kind of character way, in a thing of, I don't know if there's any other season of Doctor Who, with the exception of maybe Peter's last season, where you can see that the light has gone out behind the eyes, Yeah. A little bit. There's a little bit of getting through this until the bar opens, which with Tom is on his face more often than not, but at least he hides it better in other seasons.
Yes.
So I don't think that would be my reasoning for it not going into A, if you were going to think about putting it into A.
Interesting. Yeah, I was thinking of putting it into A because I sort of consider 18 and 19 that run of seasons. I think again, it's that consistency, I think.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's got a heavy feeling. We talked about that when we were talking about Meglos, Legopolis.
Yeah.
And that is something that is commendable about it, and it is something that separates it and makes it feel different. But I don't know how much of that morose feeling is intended. I don't, in that way. I don't know how much of it is just everybody feels a bit fed up.
Yeah.
It's got that feeling to it that everybody is just kind of ready to do something else here.
Yeah. Could we at least put it maybe at the end of A?
Yeah, okay.
Perhaps. Or at the very least at the start of B. But then again, you've got...
I think end of A.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's put it there. Yeah. So at the moment, we've got S tier is 13, 14, 25, 26, and 7. We're happy with that, aren't we?
Would you put 26 above 25?
Yes, I would actually.
Okay.
I would do that.
Little swap-a-rooney.
Little swap there.
A is on my screen 12, 10, 9, 19, 1, 2, 18.
Do we want to move 18? Does 18 go
higher?
See, I would put 18 above season 19.
Ah, wow. Okay.
No, would I?
Yeah. You actually, it's so funny when you look at it in comparison,
Yeah.
This is a really good way of establishing listings of things, because it does make you view it. You can categorize things as much as you like, but when you get into the specifics of stuff, this is where these tier lists actually become really interesting, because you actually have to look at it on a macro level.
Yeah.
And that does change things a bit.
I guess 19 does have like Earthshock and stuff, which is...
I would put 18 above both of the Bill Hartnells, but I don't think I'd put it above 19 personally.
Okay, let's do that then. I think you're right. I think just because, you've got your Earth Shocks and your Kinder. I think that really pushes 19. 18 doesn't quite have the stinkers of Fort of Doomsday or Time Flight, though.
Yeah.
But, okay. I'm happy with that. Yeah. Okay, so 12, 10, 9, 19, 18, 1 and 2.
Yep.
And then B, season 8, 5, 4, 6, 11, 20, 22, and 3. You happy with that?
I don't see much of a reason to shuffle that, really.
Does 11 move, maybe? Does 11 go up to the top with 8?
I don't think it's on the level of 8.
Right, okay.
But I do think it could move up. I think it could maybe bump one of the Pats, or maybe 2 of the Pats down. It could go between 5 and 4.
It could go between 5 and 4, couldn't it? Let's do that. Let's go between 5 and 4.
Because at least it breaks those Pats up a little bit. Because not that we should be going off of how weird it looks, but it is funny seeing all of the Pats slap bang in the middle.
Right together.
That list.
Yeah. Okay.
Very
so
odd.
8, 5, 11, 4, 6, 20, 22, and season 3.
Yeah.
Season 3 is obviously a difficult one, like we said, because so much of it is missing. Then C tier, we've got season 21, 23, and season 16, which I think is pretty fair, pretty solid.
Yeah.
And then D tier, 24, 15, and 17.
Now, obviously, these are the first ones we put down, and we've got a good idea of, I think, where everything else is going to finish. I can't think of anything else really shifting now.
Well, let's put 17 above 15 for sure, because 15 really is the bottom. Season 24. Would you put that above 17? Would you put that above City of Death?
There's no City of Death in that season.
No, there isn't, is there? And Tom is having a good time, generally
Tom's
speaking.
enjoying himself.
Yeah.
I don't know though, because Destiny isn't very good.
No, it's not great.
But it's a Dalek story written by Terry Nation, so it's got a certain level to it. Yeah. And although he completely misunderstands his own creation and does the whole Novellan robot thing. Yeah. It's beyond that, it's fine, really. Yeah. Creature from the Pit is just daft.
Yeah.
Nightmare of Eden is really good fun.
Yep.
And Naimon. So I reckon maybe season 17 could go at the top of D and we bring 24 down.
Yeah, I think so. Okay. 17, 24, 15. I'm quite happy with that, you know?
I think so too. It's very satisfying seeing them all there.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's anything that needs moving about.
No.
My only one, only because it looks like it's at the end of something, but it doesn't really mean anything given it's in S and that's supposed to be toppermost anyway.
Yeah.
I almost fancy moving season 7 up 1.
Yeah. Between 26 and 25. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. I agree. Because it is that's a really good. Why not? Yeah. Why not? Wow. Well, there we go. So that's quite good, you know. Only 3 seasons in the bottom rung.
Yeah.
And then only 3 seasons in the uppermost bottom. Obviously a big chunk in B, which isn't a bad thing by any means.
What we've established here is that most of Doctor Who is just okay.
Yeah.
Basically. But that there's more good than there is bad.
Oh, for sure. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Hello. This is Matt from the future coming back to you because I'm editing this video now and I'm looking at the rankings and this is cocked. And I know you're probably at home thinking, this is cocked. So why is it cocked? Well, season 5, a season that has Tomb of the Cybermen in it, one of my favourite stories, isn't in the A tier, but season 2 is a season that has the Web Planet. That is completely cocked. So, unfortunately, Billy, I'm going to have to tweak this. So, in which case, season 5, that's Tomb of the Cybermen, that's, what else is in that season? What's in that season, love? Web of Fear, Enemy of the World, Fury from the Deep, The Ice Warriors. There's some crackers in there. We must have been on crack doing this. My reasoning behind our mad thinking is that for him, he was about to go to bed, and for me, I'd only just got up in the morning. So, right, season 5, let's whack this up here. I'll be kind to Billy, and I won't put it above any of the other stuff on that tier, just because, you know, he's had no say in this. Which means I am going to automatically dip. I mean, why did we must have been nuts. Right, I'm going to put season 2. Oh, I'm going to put season 2 there after season 11. There we go. No, let's leave it like that. That way Billy won't get too cross with me for changing it. Anyway, back to me and Billy in the past. It'd be interesting to have compared this to the new series one.
In that video, we had I'm classic series minded. Series 1 and Series 3 in S.
Right.
Series 5 and Series 4 in A.
Yeah.
Series 2, Series 7 and Series 10 in B.
Yes.
I almost question why Series 2 is that high now.
Really? Series 2's got some good stories in it, I think.
Yeah, it's a bit vanilla though.
Yeah, like New Earth's pretty caca.
I think it's a bit wet. I think it's a bit after being so confident with Series 1.
Yeah.
I think Series 2 is a little bit like, I don't know yet. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe we doing this right? Because it's difficult second album or whatever it is, you know, that phrase.
I guess it is, isn't it? Yeah.
Feels a little bit.
That's very true
at the start.
And then you have Series 3, which is like, right, okay, now we know what we're doing. Okay, so that was B tier, was it?
That was B tier. C is series 13, Flux. Series 12 and Series 8.
Right. Yeah.
And D is Series 6, Series 11 and Series 9.
Okay.
I'd be tempted to suggest we do Series 6 a favour, because I really liked that season opener when we watched it the other day. I know, listening back to it, I sounded like I didn't enjoy it, but I did.
I don't
looking at me with suspicious eyes.
I don't think you can
base it off of that alone.
No. Think about the next story in that series.
Think about Curse of the Black Spot, Billy. Come on. Of course, it's a D tier season.
Closing time. The Wedding of River Song. Let's kill Hitler.
Yeah.
Let's kill Hitler.
Why not? So if we just compare the top and the bottom, so our best of the new series is Series 1.
Right.
Our best of the classic series is season 13. Don't know if we can draw any parallels there. But and then Series 9 is the worst of the new series. And season 15 is the worst of the classic series. Would you say that season 15 is a worse run of stories than Series 9?
Oh, that's interesting. Now, I think the trouble is, with season 15, a lot of its problems lie in the production value, is that they've got no money to do anything. So that does not help. Meanwhile, Series 9 has a lot of production value, just shit stories, you know? So I think I probably would I would definitely sooner watch season 15 than series 9, I think. On the whole. Yeah. And it's Tom,
If that doesn't say how classic brain purist we are.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But,
we take even the worst season of classic Doctor Who over the worst season of New Who.
Yeah, but I think so. We said it earlier, the woman who lived, the girl who died, or whatever the feck it's called. Oh, God, I mean...
I was just looking at that list, and it's Magician's Apprentice, which is familiar, which is enough already to tell you, turn back here, do not go any further. Under the Lake Before the Flood, which is okay. I've got us down to do that later this year.
Yeah, I like that story. Yeah.
Girl Who Died, Woman Who Lived, meh, or less than meh. The Zygon Invasion and the Zygon Inversion.
God.
Sleep No More.
I didn't mind it as much the last time I watched it. I think what lets it down is the fact that they were like, let's try and make it a found footage thing. And I think that complicates it more than it needed to be. I think if they'd have just shot it like a traditional Doctor Who story, I think it would have just been a pretty average, but, okay sort of story that you could imagine any Doctor being in. It's just like a very run-of-the-mill episode. But I think that direction kind of cocked it a little bit. I guess they just wanted to try and do something different with it. And then what's after Sleep No More? Is it the finale? Is it Heaven Sent?
Yeah, Heaven Sent then you've got the run of Face the Raven, Heaven Sent, and Hellbent. Yeah,
and then Face the Raven is just okay. So I don't know if it's even okay.
So
isn't that the one where you've got like a Cyberman that's in love with a Sontaran or something on that street? Face the Raven. Don't they make some like mad remark like a Cyberman's bonking a Sontaran or something? I don't know.
Do you know what? I don't know, but I'm just having a look at the cast for Face the Raven. Yeah. And I can't believe that Riggsy from Flatline turns up again in that story.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. I had forgotten everything about that season. I just blanked it from my mind. Yeah. I mean, I've never gone back and watched another episode from that season except for the podcast. Or, from that period generally.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Oh, well, I think that pretty much wraps it up. Don't you?
Yeah, I think so. I'm quite happy with that. That's quite a nice looking ranking there. So there we go.
I would say so too. And if you head over to the Review of Death Patreon, we're going to be doing another ranking in a tier list next week for Cyberman designs, which everybody was going a bit mad for on Twitter a couple of weeks ago. Them guys over there. But that was actually suggested by Rodder ages ago, so we haven't copied anything.
That was Chris Clark, I think, wasn't it?
It was Chris Clark. Thank you very much, Chris Clark, for that suggestion.
Thank you, Chris.
So we'll get round to that next week. And if you fancy any other kind of Review of Death stuff, we did our first James Bond last week as well, which is Matt hasn't seen it, but he knows it's brilliant.
No, I haven't watched it yet. I got to watch it.
I've got to send you a copy first.
Yes.
But so that's all popping off over there as well.
Yeah, very good. Good stuff. Well, in that case, we'll see you next time. But like Billy said, head over to Patreon if you want more of us talking crap. But until then,
as always,
we'll see you next time doing something. Not sure what.
I think we can swap things around if you want.
Yeah, we can wiggle it around.
It's a malleable thing, but I've got down here penciled Horror of Fang Rock with Johnny.
Ooh, yes.
Because it will be that time for that box set.
Yes. Oh, there we go. Horror of Fang Rock.
Come back for a review from a season that we consider the worst in Doctor Who's classic series history.
Yes. That's timely. Very timely after what we've just done. Yeah. Very good. All right, then. We'll see you then for the Rutan invasion of Fang Rock. Farewell. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Like and subscribe.